You know, there was a famous quote that came out of the Soviet Union: "We'll hang the West and they'll sell us the rope." That has never applied to the Soviet Union. It applies to China, especially under Xi Jinping. I believe that when Bill Clinton delinked MFN from human rights on May 26, 1994, that was a catastrophic game changer for the dictatorship. And ever since, they have believed, and maybe rightfully, with some exceptions, that they can do whatever they want, and no sanctions will be forthcoming that are meaningful. And we've had hearings over the years, many of them, 97 hearings on human rights abuse in China. We just counted them up. They will do everything they can to take anything we sell, particularly in the area of high tech, use it for the military. They've been doing that for decades. We don't learn. We think somehow if you trade more, they'll matriculate from dictatorship to democracy. Not going to happen under Xi Jinping and the CCP. You know, I got a bill passed almost a year ago, and 2 votes against it on the floor of the House, to try to end, certainly expose and end the egregious practice of forced organ harvesting. Tens of thousands of young people, average age 28, are killed to get 2 or 3 of their organs each and every year. The problem is not only a gross human rights abuse, but it's absolutely being enabled by the PLA. And there's even a hospital, 301 military hospital in Beijing, where, you know, if Xi Jinping wants a new liver, he'll probably get it from a Falun Gong practitioner who's 28 years old. And again, what they are doing is they do it with all kinds of pharmaceuticals. They try to get a monopoly on just about everything. But in this case, it's a huge moneymaker for the PLA. It's also a way of regenerative medicine for their elite and for their military. Your thoughts?
Its success and the success of its elections really demolished the Chinese Communist Party's claim to speak for all people of Chinese heritage. It's also clear to me that the CCP's attempt to bully Taiwan, whether it's through spy balloons, sanctions, military incursions, backfired. Certainly when I was there, the people of Taiwan saw that bullying, saw what had happened to Hong Kong, and I think it revealed the CCP's true intentions, which are to destroy Taiwan's democracy. And Xi Jinping keeps telling us this plainly, and yet the Biden administration and the business community simply don't want to hear it. So it's time for us in America, inspired by Taiwan's bravery, to stand up to communist aggression.
I have a quick question for both of you. If you can let me know, are you aware of any U.S. companies that have invested in Chinese companies that have gone into partnership with the PLA?
Sure. One that I was looking at as I was crafting the testimony was a company called 4Paradigm. 4Paradigm is a AI firm in China that has reportedly sold software to China's military for what they called, quote, battalion command, decision-making, and human machine learning. That company was seeded by Goldman Sachs, Sequoia Capital, and probably some others as well. Another would be Biren Technology, B-I-R-E-N. That's an advanced semiconductor designer that wants to compete with NVIDIA in China. In fact, it's already on the Commerce Department's entity list for potential ties to, quote, weapons of mass destruction, advanced weapon systems, and high-tech surveillance. And that one was invested by a couple of American venture capital firms.
How many times can you recall in speeches Xi Jinping talking about preparing for war?
Well, Congressman, last March, so less than a year ago, China held its annual 2 meetings, what they call them, the Liang Hui. It means the National People's Congress and another gathering called the Chinese People's Political Consultative Congress. Simultaneously, Xi Jinping gave 4 addresses to those 2 delegates to those 2 meetings. All 4 of them had the common theme of the need for China to prepare for war. And in the lead up, there were changes that were being made to laws. For example, making it easier to put the military in charge of Chinese society in the event of war. New rules to retain reserve military personnel for longer periods of time, particularly if they have key skills. New mobilization, military mobilization offices that have popped up in most of the provinces around China. Building air raid shelters right across from Taiwan, as well as starting to create authorities for building military hospitals that can do combat care. I don't take comfort in any of those signals, any one of them, much less the constellation that is painted by all of them combined. So I think that war is on Xi Jinping's mind. He's told us as much.